Happy Valentine's Day, or whatever day you're watching this. If you're not watching the live, but if you are watching the live, happy Valentine's Day. And this message is specifically for my singles. If you are single and you are a believer, this message is for you. Um, so, yes, I am also single, and Jesus is my Valentine. I don't have a human Valentine, and honestly, it doesn't bother me. Only because, well, it's two reasons why it doesn't bother me. Because I don't care about holidays in the first place. Like, if people invite me to stuff, I'll come. But I don't make a big deal about any holiday, not Christmas, not Thanksgiving, 4th of July. I just don't care about holidays. But if you invite me to something, I'll come. Yeah. But another reason why I don't care is because honestly, it's just where I'm at mentally and spiritually with God. I feel like every day is Valentine's Day because I'm in love with God. I have this beautiful love affair with God. And I'm not saying that in a weird way, but yeah, it did not used to be like that. I used to cling to a man for dear life. I was always attached to somebody's son. And it's crazy to go from that to being abstinent and single for 2 years. I haven't been entertaining anybody. I haven't even went on a date. Like it's literally just been me and the Lord. And it's not because I don't want love or I'm afraid of love, but it's because now I'm doing things God's way. And I'm going to be real. God's way is way harder than the world's way. I'm going to be real. Doing it God's way, finding your soulmate, the love of your life, the true love of your life, your divine counterpart, the person God made for you. If you want to call it a twin flame, soulmate, whatever you want to call it, kingdom spouse. But if you want that person, the person God has for you, because I don't care what anybody says, anybody who is a believer, God has a specific person for you. And He also has you for a specific person. But if you don't do things God's way and you do things the world's way, you're 9 times out of 10 you're going to end up with the wrong person, and you're not going to end up with the person God had for you. So yes, that explains why I've been single for 2 years, a little over 2 years, and honestly, it really hasn't been that hard. It hasn't been that hard because of my relationship with God. Literally, my God has became my husband. God has became my spouse. And like I said, not in a weird way, but I lean on God for everything. All throughout the day, I'm constantly talking to God. Literally, I'll be having conversations with God like He's another human. You would think that I was in my apartment talking to another human. That's how I'll be talking to God. So it's like God fills me up to where I'm not just out here going places to try to meet somebody. I'm not going on apps, and I'm not, please forgive me, I'm not demonizing that. I'm just saying there's the world's way of doing things and there's God's way of doing things. But I'm not going out to places just to try to meet somebody or on dating apps or doing any of that. Like, it just be me and God. And if God put a man in front of me that I feel like, it's something different about him, I see the God in him and like I'm attracted to him and all those other things, then yeah, I'll entertain it. But if not, it's no need to play around. And that's the thing. People be playing around. People be going on all these dates. And I know somebody personally, no disrespect to this person, but I'm just being honest. I know somebody personally, a woman, beautiful woman, who has went on hundreds of dates over the past few years. Hundreds. Maybe, nah, not thousands, but probably like a few hundred dates over the past few years. Guess what? She's still single. She's still not married. She's not even in a relationship. And that just goes to show when you're doing things the world's way, that is not going to guarantee you the person God has for you. And it's like people don't realize how spiritual love is. And this is the thing that pisses me off. I'm sorry, but I don't care. The fieriness is coming out, y'all. But this is what pisses me off. People love to use the word love. People misuse and abuse that word. That's probably the number one word people misuse. People swear up and down, oh, I love this person. I can't live without this person. Oh, he mistreats me and doesn't respect me, but I love him. I can't leave him. You don't love him. You just don't love yourself. And I know because I used to be that girl. That is the reason why. All the different guys that I dated and had sex with, exchanged my energy with, and we gonna get into that a little bit later because we gonna talk about sex. And I know a lot of people ain't gonna want to hear what I have to say, but also I want you to know you a grown adult, do what you want. But I'm still gonna preach. But anyways, and only because I haven't always been this way. I've been on the other side, like woo, free sex liberation, woo, like I'm liberated, like but I used to be on that side and I used to just be like, oh, sex is just sex, blah, blah, blah. So going from that to being abstinent for over 2 years and not planning on doing that again until I'm at least a fiance, that is a big deal. And that's the reason why I'm preaching what I'm preaching because I've been on the other side and I've dealt with the consequences. When I was super young, caught chlamydia. Thankfully, you were able to get rid of that. But that's something that, was a consequence of me sharing my body with these men that were not my husband and that I wasn't even in a relationship with. And even the ones I was in a relationship with, if you are going to be doing a nasty, use protection. Use protection. I know it feels good without it. Listen, if you're not an adult, don't watch this live because I'm gonna be raw, cut, and real. I'm gonna be raw, uncut, and real. So yeah, here's the thing. If you don't feel like this is your spouse, or you're not even thinking like that, you just want to feel the pleasure of, doing it, at least use a condom. Like people downplay the consequences of not only having premarital sex, but having unprotected sex. Like not only is it possible for you to catch something, but guess what? That's how humans are created. You can create a whole human from that one act. So the fact that people play around with it, and I'm sorry, y'all, if you don't want to hear it, just turn me off. Just turn me off, but I got to preach. Literally, I'm not even thinking about what I'm saying. God is just literally just putting all these things in my mouth and it's just coming out. But people downplay the fact that you can create a whole life off sex. People just think about the pleasure. They don't think about the pain, the long-term pain that could come from it, and the consequences. The long-term pain is you having an unwanted pregnancy and the baby being born into dysfunction because the parents was just wanting to feel some pleasure. They wasn't in love. They wasn't married. They wasn't even in a relationship or any of that. They just wanted to bust a nut. And then you create a whole human that didn't ask to be here, that is born into all types of dysfunction and trauma. So, and like I said, I didn't used to think like this. Like I said, I used to be like, oh, I'm free, blah, blah, blah. Like, but it's like I've suffered the consequences. Not only did I catch chlamydia when I was like 18, 19, like I said, I got rid of that. Thankfully, thank God it wasn't something like HIV because you can't get rid of that. And that's why I say, like, people should not play around with the 3-letter word. You should not play around with that. And if you are, at least use protection. At least use protection. But, anyways, back to what I was saying. Not only was that a consequence, another consequence was me having an abortion. Why? Because the person that I was pregnant by, I knew damn well I did not want to have a kid with that person. So that's another thing. If you know you would not want to have a child with that person, like I said, don't do it, or at least use protection. At the bare minimum, just use protection. Because it's like, it pains me to see little kids, innocent children, being abused, being molested and raped, and going through all types of trauma because people wasn't thinking about the consequences when they was bumping and grinding. They was just thinking about the pleasure. And I'm so passionate about it because, like I said, I've been on all sides. I am also a product of, somebody having kids out of wedlock. And not only that, not only did my parents have me out of wedlock, these niggas were teenagers. My parents were like 14, 15 when they had me. Thankfully, I am thankful to be alive. I'm thankful to be here, but I'm going to be real. I wouldn't have wanted to be brought in the way that I was brought in, like what I was born into. So it's like, people gotta really think about the consequences of their actions. You can't just go off your feelings. You can't just go off your, it's really your feelings, your flesh. You cannot lead your life with your flesh, especially your love life. Because that's how people get intertwined in these relationships where that's back to the word love. People misuse that word all the time. People use love as an excuse to stay with somebody that's mistreating them. Stay with somebody who deep down they really don't feel that strongly about this person, but they don't know how to be alone. They have an attachment to that person. They don't really love that person. They just have an attachment. Or when people say, "Oh, I love him, I can't let him go," you don't love him. You're trauma bonded. You're codependent. That's not love. And here's the thing, if you don't love yourself, you cannot correctly assess whether or not you love another person. Because if you don't love yourself and you don't know what love is, if you don't love yourself, it's you don't know what love is. So you can't say, "Oh, I just love this person so much," when they're mistreating you. How do you love somebody that's mistreating you? What is there to love? And this is coming from somebody who went through that. So I'm not coming from a judgmental place. I'm coming from experience. My last ex, he treated me worse than any other man I've ever been with. And guess what? I thought I was so in love with him. I loved him more than any other man I ever been with, even though he treated me the worst. And why is that? It's because I didn't love myself. And I was constantly trying to prove myself to him because I didn't love myself and I was seeking his approval. I felt like I needed him to love me in order for me to love me. And it didn't even just start with him. Every relationship I was in prior to that, I subconsciously depended on that person to love me in order for me to love me. My worth was always attached to another man. My worth was always attached. Why? I don't know why I said to another man because I'm a woman, but my worth was always attached to a man. Like I said, I was always attached to somebody's son. Even if I technically was single, I always had somebody I was dealing with. That's because I didn't love myself and I didn't know how to be alone. The reason why I didn't know how to be alone is because I didn't love myself. That's the thing. If you don't know how to be by yourself, that's because you don't fully love yourself. And that's okay because you can get to a point where you do. I'm a walking testament. I used to have such low self esteem. But the crazy thing is, on the surface, I seemed confident, but it was really a false confidence. I was confident in my looks, like, "Oh, I'm pretty, I'm beautiful." But deep down inside, I didn't feel like I was worthy. And like I said, like I used to have really low self esteem. I really did not love myself. I really did not value myself. I did not respect myself. But today, I can confidently say, I love myself. I love myself. That's why I enjoy spending so much time by myself. And I be having to tell God, like, "Look, even though I do like spending a lot of time by myself, I am ready for my husband. Whenever you're ready, Lord. But at the same time, I'm not like, oh, when is it going to happen? Oh, I'm 31. The clock is ticking. Honestly, I don't even think like that. But the reason I don't think like that is because I really believe in God and I trust God. And I know God is the ultimate matchmaker. And I know somebody might be watching this like, wow, you ain't even with your husband yet. Like you're not with your person yet. So how can you say all this so confidently? Number one, I've seen it in other people. I've seen what God has done for others, and I've listened to their stories, and you cannot deny God orchestrated their union. But even aside from that, I just know in my spirit, I pray and talk to God all day, every day, and I meditate every day. So these are just things I know in my spirit. And then it's confirmed through other couples. And I'm like, wow, like that's what I've been feeling in my spirit. I should do it. Wow, like that's how I be thinking about love and marriage too. But yeah, speaking of people or women specifically worrying about, oh, the clock is ticking. I'm in my 30s. I'm still not married, blah, 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 and you're panicking. You're going on all these dating apps. You're going to all these different places trying to meet somebody, and you're frustrated because you're like, all these men are trash. All these men are blah blah blah. Number one, why you keep giving so many men a chance? That's the thing. People be too like, oh, I'm just going to give this person a chance and see where things go. Before you even go on a date with somebody, you need to consult God. You need to talk to God. When you first meet somebody, don't just say, oh, okay, I'll give you my number because you're cute. No, you need to have a little conversation with them and fill them out and go off of what you feel in your spirit. Just because they're cute or they have certain things that you might like, if they're surface level things, be very careful to be quick to give them your phone number or go on a date. And that's the thing. The reason why you're so frustrated is because you keep entertaining all these different people. You, deep down in your spirit, you know if you can see yourself with a person or not. If you have to talk yourself into it, that's not your person. Don't waste your time and don't waste their time either. But yeah, there was this girl on TikTok and she was crying and she was saying, I'm 31 and I'm about to get my eggs. What is it called? Fertilized? Oh no, she's I said she was about to get her eggs fertilized. She was saying she was about to get her eggs frozen. Like whatever women do to pretty much make sure they can get pregnant when they get older. And she was like saying like I went on all these dating apps and I've put myself out there and I went on all these dates and went to all these different places and I can't believe I'm 31 and I'm still not married. Like so I'm having to freeze my eggs just in case, I'm not able to have kids naturally. And I'm just listening and I'm like, wow, she's only 31 and she's thinking like that. Because I'm 31 too, and I honestly don't think like that. But also, I feel like it's because of my relationship with God, because I'll be telling God, look, if I'm one of those prophets or messengers who's just meant to be single for the rest of my life, it is what it is. I surrender. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to just serve and I'm going to just be at peace. As long as you give me the money, as long as you give me some money, I'll be single for the rest of my life if that's what you've called me to do. Or even like I want to have kids. I feel like I'm meant to be a mother. But if that's not God's will for me, I'm okay with it. I'm at peace with it. So that's probably part of the reason why I don't be thinking like, oh, I'm 31. I need to hurry up and get married. I need to hurry up and have a baby. I'm like, if it's meant to happen, it's gonna happen. If it's not, it's not. It is what it is. Like, but I was listening to her and I'm like, dang, she's only 31 and she's thinking like that. And I'm like, here's the thing. People will be like, oh, you should put yourself out there. You should do this, you should do that. There's plenty of examples of people who've done that and they're still single. The person that I told you I know personally who's went on hundreds of dates over the past few years and they're still single. There's so many examples of that. Then you have examples of people who do end up getting married. They do all that and they do end up getting married. But how many of those people stay together? How many of those people don't end up in divorce? And that's the thing. When God is not the one who orchestrated it, it's not going to last. And if it does last, it's because y'all just tolerating each other. The marriage might be dysfunctional, y'all might be cheating, y'all just staying for the kids. But that's I don't know about anybody else, but that's not the type of marriage that I want. I want what God has for me. If that means I gotta wait a little longer, it is what it is. That's the attitude that you have to have. That's the mindset that you have to have. Because if you moping around, oh, I'm single, everybody's getting married, everybody's having kids. What about me, God? What about me, God? When is it gonna happen? You focused on the wrong things. You need to be focused on God and whatever He's called you to do. While you're single, while you're waiting, you need to be serving and you need to be having a very intimate relationship with God. And that should be at all times, even when you get with your spouse. But the two things you need to be focused on is God and serving. Be in a relationship with God. Be in love with God. And I know if you've been single for a while, you might be tired of hearing stuff like that. But it's the truth. Because moping around and panicking and worrying and being all sad, that's not going to help you either. It's pointless. It's a waste of your energy. And if you claim you believe in God, then why are you worried? Why are you stressing? If you truly trust God, you shouldn't be worried. The only reason you're worried is because you don't trust God. And you got to be real with yourself about that. And I had to be real with myself about that too. Because I ain't gonna lie, there was a point in time where I'm like, man, when is it gonna happen, God? Like, dang, I thought it would have happened by now. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't even care. I don't even care. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. It's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. One second. mm. Ooh, I need that. I think I need some more. Oh, Lord Jesus, bless my voice. Bless my voice. It needs to be moist because it's super dry right now. Oh. Whew. Let me take a look at my notes. Love is in the air. Everywhere I look around. Love is in the air with every sight and every sound. Ah, I'm almost done, guys. I know I'll be talking y'all's ear off. I don't even be expecting to come on here and talk that much, but it's like God just be hitting me with the rapid fire and it just be like, dang, where was I at? Ugh, I've been all over the place. Oh, but yeah, it really pisses me off how people misuse the word love. You don't love that person because you don't love yourself. You don't know what love is. People think love is struggle. Love is pain. Love is sacrifice. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy or boast. If that person is mistreating you, you don't love them and they don't love you. Because let me tell you something. If you loved yourself, you would not love somebody who was mistreating you and dogging you out and disrespecting you. So that's the thing. Love. In order to love another person, you have to first love yourself and you have to know God. Because if you know God, then you know what love really is. Not lust, not infatuation, not trauma bonding, not codependency, or any of that other stuff. And that's why people, when that's the number one thing that I hear people use for an excuse as to why they stay with somebody that's mistreating them and abusing them. Oh, but I love them. I love them. Oh, they're just sick. Oh, they have trauma, blah, blah, blah. You love them, but do they love you? Can you honestly say that? Oh, because they tell you they love you? No. If somebody is mistreating you and disrespecting you and taking advantage of you, they don't love you. They do not love you. I don't care what mental disorder they have. I don't care about their childhood. I don't care about their trauma. They do not love you. Like I said, God said love is patient. God said love is kind. All that other stuff, the toxic back and forth, mistreating, that's not love. That is not love. And the reason why it pisses me off so much is because people be like, oh, love is bull, love is bull, love ain't real, love is this, love is that. People start talking negatively about love, but I'm like, what y'all calling love ain't love. Like, that's why it's like love didn't hurt you. That person who didn't love you is the one who hurt you. But oh yeah, and I have a different story. It was a woman who was single for 4 years, abstinent and single, didn't go on dates, anything. And after 4 years of being single and abstinent, she met her husband, and they didn't have sex until their wedding night. They didn't even kiss until their wedding day. I'm gonna be real. Even though I'm being abstinent, I'm kissing my future husband before we get married. But I respect them for that. Even though I'm not doing that, I was like, wow, that is crazy. The fact that she was single for 4 years, didn't go on any dates, wasn't on dating apps or nothing. And she was abstinent. And then she ended up meeting her husband while she was serving God. She was making videos about God. She was making videos about God, and he found her videos, and that's how they connected. They lived in two completely different countries. He lived in the US, she lived in UK, and they ended up getting married, even though they lived in different countries. And they didn't even have sex or kiss until their wedding day. And that just goes to show you when God orchestrates it, when God orchestrates it, it's going to be better than what you would have settled for. I'm going to be real. Doing it God's way is harder, but it's way better than the person you would have settled for. So just wait. I know it's hard. I know firsthand it's hard, but you have to be patient. You have to be patient, and you got to just live your life. Don't go places to try to meet somebody. Go places that you want to go to. Go places that you enjoy. Like, don't go like, oh, I'm going to go to this place so I can meet this person. Oh, I heard there's a lot of single people that go here, so let me go here. No, just go where you want to go, and you're going to come across your person when you least expect it. It's going to catch you so off guard. And the reason I know this is because I've heard so many people's stories where it completely caught them off guard. Even though they wanted it, even though they were yearning for it, they didn't see it coming. So just be patient and let God surprise you. I'm sorry I haven't been reading the comments, guys. But happy Valentine's Day. I haven't been reading the comments because I don't want to get distracted. But yeah. If you need coaching, check out my website. See my voice. Oh, it's always at the end of my lives that my voice goes out. If you need coaching, let me just take the mic off so I don't have to raise my voice. If you need coaching, check out my website, www.coachwithkai.com. And yeah, I love you guys. My voice is gone. I always do this anytime. Your voice going means you've been working hard. Keep it up. Well, thank you, but I need my voice. But yeah, I love you. Oh, shoot. I forgot about the mic. Oh my God. I love you guys. This has been officially awkward. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you like the video. If this message spoke to you, I'll see you soon with the next message. Okay. Bye.